No, wait, Mr. Oldies.
Hello,
So-
you're on stream. Would you like me to
Stop for a second.
I'll just
stop.
deaf mute and me hearing it's
Yeah.
probably not important. Yeah, they're gonna gossip without me. Yeah. Tell you what I can do. Can. Well, hello guys.
Hello.
We're back
yes.
and still live.
Back from
let's-
dead.
So
yeah.
what happened?
Okay.
Potential issues talking about yeah, more subs. Because the sub mid laner got called away for an urgent work thing.
Oh,
So potential another sub is high ranked. So GOTR are discussing whether they want to allow it or not.
cool.
But anyway, we have an interview to do.
We do. We have a pre-game, post-game interview with guys in real life. welcome.
Welcome to your pre-post game interview.
Pre-game, post-game interview.
Yes, does it start now?
Yes, you're already live. Welcome
Okay,
to.
hello, mom. I'm on TV.
So, I mean, first of all, congratulations on your 2-0.
Thank you.
What was your plan going into these games?
Okay, so the first match, we were against a Smurf ADC, so we were a little careful, and we were like, we funnel everything to the jungler, and then I don't know, we just flipped it basically. And if it wouldn't go well, we would try something else, like a little more off meta next game. But we won, so we were chilling.
And did that change in game 2, or was it just well, this worked game 1, let's just do it again?
I mean, we only died once, so we were like, yeah, let's just go for a comfort picks and then just win. We felt like we were the better players mechanically, and yeah.
Now, I kind of do want to ask you, it's not about the game, but just about the league in general, who you think your biggest opponents are? in the.
I mean, I don't want to be that person, but I don't think we have any opponents.
I like
But
confidence.
if we were to be challenged by someone, I mean, I'd say, GOTR. I don't know.
I like the confidence.
So I have to look forward to that match.
Yes.
Yes.
I believe that's how. Oh, we don't have that one until. Oh, that's final week. Oh wait, no.
Final week.
Oh,
No, it's not. I'm just dumb and missed
It's
it.
not. You just can't read.
Yeah, I
Would
can't
you like me
read.
to take a look at schedule and see when
English is
It's
they're
week
playing
4. It's
GOTR?
week 2. It's next week.
It's final week. It's week 4. No, it's week 2. There's only 5 weeks. It has to be one of them.
It's
You'll
hard
get there.
because a lot of the teams have similar names.
It's next week. Guys in real life versus GOTR. Guardians of
Be
the Rift.
a fun match to look forward to.
So also, of course, we've got some more interview questions lined up. What's your favorite Pokemon?
Okay. So I am prepared for this. Every time someone asks me this,
Oh,
every time I have a conversation, I hope someone asks me it, but no one asks me it. But my favorite Pokemon, Trubbish.
Trubbish.
Why is it
Oh,
Trubbish?
I respect
Okay,
it.
but no one likes him, and he's so good looking. Like,
Honestly, I think he's well designed. I agree.
thank
I
you,
actually
thank
agree.
Well, I'm glad our interview had lots of questions about the game. Should rename your team Trubbish fanboys? It looks like so GHR, I think they want an extra minute or so to prep. I have not been reading that.
Yeah, I'm
for
waiting
now they're
for
busy
them.
with the preparations, but do we want to finish off the interview or not? Because
Did you think it's a questions? Because in my break I kind of
there's a
forgot
really
to think of
easy-
questions.
there's a really easy final question.
Oh please, take
yes.
it away, Damn
And that's who do you think is going to win the next game we'll be casting? We're having GTR versus SES first team. You of course just played against the second team of SES. Do you think they will be playing any better than their first team and or than the second team? And how do you think they will perform against GTR?
I mean, I would hope they would play better because those games were just disasters. Just for the team's morale and everything, I hope the other team can perform somewhat well. But I'm gonna place my bets on GOTR.
Alright. So you're always going to GOTR. Do you think it's going to be 2-0 or a 1-1 or
2-0 to
2-0.
GOTR.
Ooh,
I like it.
there we go.
Oh, there are only 2 games, so it's not like he can
I
be
know, but
predicting
then it could have been like, oh, well, actually, because you didn't think of a 1-1 being possible, you know? I almost
No,
said a
true.
2-1. I was like, well, yeah, no, it's only 2 games.
Okay,
Yes.
well, thank you for the interview. And,
Thank you.
Your pre-game, post-game interview.
The pre-game post-game interview that didn't really go over the games you just played, but maybe
No.
next time
Next time when we do the interviews
Actually
closer to
think
the
of it.
games, we'll remember the games better and have some questions based on the game.
high quality stream value.
Oh, we do have great production value here. That's what we pride
New
ourselves in.
productions, hell yeah.
We pride ourselves on beating NA.
Ooh. Yes, but no.
Yes, but no.
But yeah,
Oh.
speaking of, we know this is basically the rivalry that we have in the league right now. Was GUTR and SAS? I know there's been a little bit of a...
Before we go on, anything else you'd like to just
Oh.
say before we kick you?
Oh, what?
Say that.
No, but this is a disaster.
It is.
We are very proud of announcing that we are currently under a name change.
Oh.
Oh?
Yes.
Oh, I really like your name.
Yeah, but I mean, some people get it mixed up. They think we're girls, and
Oh, I see how that could be confusing.
Yeah. So our new name is going to be something with Morellonomicon. We're yet to.
Something
I-
with
I
thought you were actually gonna call
Okay,
it
okay,
something
kick
with
him,
Morello.
kick him.
No.
Can you include Moby Boots too?
Yeah, please.
I will have to talk with the
Morello,
manager.
Lyandry's Black Cleaver. It's also.
Moby Nomicon.
Yikes. Moby Nomicleaver. No.
Oh. Okay. Yep. Thank you for the
Thank you
interview.
for coming
We'll
on.
catch you maybe next time you 2-0 someone.
Yes, yes,
Maybe next week.
Thanks
Great to have
for
you.
the opportunity.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, we should
There
do
we
that differently next time.
Okay, so basically what happened during the break is we didn't think about questions, but they wanted an interview, so
We were playing Pokemon Go, hence the Pokemon question.
And honestly, Trubbish is like the joke answer for what's your favorite Pokemon, but I do agree it's actually a pretty well-defined Pokemon. Just okay, yeah. There we go. There's my Pokemon.
Literal
moving
fact.
on from the Pokemon discussions.
I actually want to go further. Who's your favorite Pokemon, Gabblit?
Quilava.
Klava, okay. Mine's actually Klefki.
What's your reason for that?
Because Klefki is a cool Pokemon. Hello? It's literally
Okay.
a keychain. Yeah.
Okay. Just checking it's not because it's insanely disgusting to play again.
Yeah,
anything.
in competitive, it's
Oh.
okay, or like it used to be. But no. Light clay
just for
Klefki.
you, except
Yeah.
I'm muted so they
Set up
don't have to
Pokemon.
hear the and
Okay,
interrupt their Pokemon
back to the
discussion.
game. So,
Thank
We're
you
going to be
for
watching
enlightening us
yeah.
with your Pokemon discussion.
Disgust.
No, please don't go. Okay. There's been readies coming out from GOTR, so I'm going to swap us to the client view with the first time that transition hasn't lagged.
They didn't lag before, did it?
I think it did. Either that or it was just
Oh.
my OBS being
I
bad.
know. I wasn't seeing it on my second screen lagging.
Nice.
That's
good. So,
Yeah.
as I was saying, the rivalry, SAS and GOTR. Both teams have readied up. Oh, thank God, we can finally move away from Pokemon. Can't wait.
and hopefully we can get right into draft. Yeah.
Things to notice, SAS have unfortunately had to they subbed Accept into top lane, is it? Is Accept playing top?
Yeah.
Right,
looks
so
like it.
it looks
Yeah.
like Accept's playing top. Supernova, I think, is also a sub, and I believe, yeah, that's all of their subs.
Yeah, so unfortunately 2 subs for SAS.
Fair enough.
But they all appear to be playing out of position anyway, so See
Don't
how that
say
goes for
that
them.
too soon, because Accept actually just said in chat that he climbed to Diamond 4 by only spamming Fiora and Camille,
Camille.
which are top lane
Okay.
champions.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
I mean, the rest of the team are not in their usual positions. It seems like they've shuffled to make room for Supernova and Accept. Oldie is usually the jungle. Doobie's usually their mid laner, I believe, and Autokill's usually their ADC, unless this is just
Yeah, so usually you've got
they've screwed up where they are.
Yeah, usually
So-
Oldie's in the jungle. Actually, my list is completely different to the. So yeah,
Bans.
Autokill's usually AD carry. Doobie's normally top. It's a bit of a mix and match, but hopefully SAS can put up a fight here, as it's the rivalry match.
Into bans, absolutely no surprise at all that the first 2 bans are casted in against Dots and Zach against Mr. Oldie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely no surprise there. Jarvan being Eric's best champion, looking at his stats and win rates.
Yeah,
Also
currently
not
holding
too surprised about
70%
that.
win rate this season on that.
Is there any way
J4.
you'd like to see the last ban of SAS used?
I think it really
Let's see. Yep.
so I think it really depends what GOTR ban here.
Corky, they're focusing onto the mid lane with that second ban.
Don't
doesn't
really
help
get the
me.
draft from the side of GATR. Like, normally when you see a red side draft, you really like to target really strong champions and then finish it off with probably a Caitlyn ban. Right now we're seeing, of course, the main champions from GATR getting banned out. You already know, you touched on the fact that Jarvan is the highest win rate and probably best champion Eric has right now on his main account, since he has 2 of them. Dodd is really strong on the Cassadin. Don't really know where the Leona ban comes from. Like, Lazy Panda is mostly known for playing Rakan, and he plays a fairly decent Karma as well. So that's maybe a little bit of a surprise to see in that banning phase. And now it would be really, normal for GTR to just finish off the drafting phase by banning Caitlyn, because if you leave that priority pick open and it gets picked up by the enemy, it just gets a hell of a difficult task to keep on drafting. But they go for the Volibear.
Maybe they're happy with the Caitlyn Ash trade.
I find this
I know
surprising.
quite a few teams
because
are.
Autokill
And then you just go for a more of a pick comp. There we go.
Auto Kill's
nice
got
trade.
61% were on Caitlyn over 100 games this season. I'm surprised they let it through. Maybe it's
Yeah,
something that
same.
Tenno is comfortable just playing into. Saying, okay, I'll pick Ashe.
We do also have confirmation Accept is playing support. Supernova is top, so we can expect Oldie, Doobie, and Autokill to be in their usual positions of jungle, mid,
So
ADC,
the only reason
respectively.
why Accept is on the top side is so he can do the bans, I'd guess, by this point, since he is a coach originally. So he likes to do the bans. He can also tell other people to do the bans, but maybe they'll misclick. You never know. Ooh, a Gangplank coming out from
GP.
Reddington. That's
an
that's
interesting early
Reddington's
pick.
champion of choice, but yeah, as you're saying, normally at this situation you rather want to finish up the bot lane with drafting. Ashe can be paired up with a great diversity of champions, or you want to just blind pick a jungle, since jungle, there's a handful of junglers you can easily blind pick in this meta. Even though Volibear and Zac are banned, you can still go for different champions.
I was expecting to see a jungle pick up the Gangplank. It's a bit risky. See Vlad being locked in. Not sure whether that's going to be Vlad into Gangplank or in the mid lane.
I'd say so. Scaling
course, it
versus
can be-
scaling.
Yeah, it can be flexed. I would expect to see it top. Of course, they can move it to the mid lane if they have another pick for Gangplank.
I'd like
See
Sans
what's
to pick
locked
up Morgana right now, since Morgana is like the freest lane with Caitlyn, but they're going for the classic Thresh pick, since W, the Lantern, is one of the most important parts of its kit. Also allows a lot of immobile champions to be picked up. Volibear is already off the chart, but if you want to go for a tower dive, the Lantern can be your savior in those kind of scenarios.
Yeah, that Dark Passage hopefully
Indeed.
giving Accept the route out he needs. Jump back a little bit, I'm really surprised to see the GP pick up, because basically everything we've been told about Reddington since he's been moved up from GOTR Red to GOTR is the fact that he loves Ioriaa. It's Ioriaa. Ioriaa's open and GP.
I quite like this, seeing the pivot to him picking some more team-focused champions as opposed to just the split push. Gangplank will be very good. It tells me they might be looking for a bot lane focus, just have Gangplank play weak side until he gets his ultimate. Ult that bot lane with your Ashe ultimate and the early game strength of Karma. You can maybe just pick off Thresh constantly.
And it looks like GTR thinks that this Vladimir is going towards the mid lane, or at least it's a potential flex, since Shen is getting banned out of the way. On the other hand, you can make an argument for the fact that Vladimir plays really well into Gangplank. They're both fairly well scaling champions, and well, you have the counter pick right now on blue side, with the Gangplank being shown early. So it would make more sense for this Vladimir to go into the top side of the map.
So Ryze being banned out against Dot, I don't think there's any no real surprises there. The main thing that leaves open is they've not banned his Sylas and they've not banned his Azir.
Yeah.
Those are the two you expect to usually see him playing. Personally,
Got that ban?
I mean, just being a Lux mid player, I don't mind playing into Azir, but it depends what they play. Maybe they're happy to play Vladimir into Azir and it is mid lane, or maybe they have a pick in mind.
Yeah, they do have one ban left. They can put it onto the Azir or the Siders if they want. Honestly, I mean, if it was me, I'd want to see the Azir go, but that's my personal hate against Azir. But actually, the Hecarim coming out targeted towards Eric instead.
Yeah, so now GTR has to probably blind pick their jungle champion, because they want to have their mid lane as a counter pick. If they don't give Dot the counter pick, they'll have a really, really bad matchup into the mid lane.
I don't like Trundle. What do you think about Trundle here?
Blind pick Trundle is int. Like, Trundle's a counter pick to tanky champions.
Yeah.
And since most of the tanky junglers have already been banned out, we see Jarvan, Hecarim, Zac, Volibear, and Sejuani already on the bench. So it makes sense right now that a champion like Graves may be picked up by the side of SAS. But
Maybe
there are
they're
a lot of opportunities.
predicting the fact that the only real big frontline for the moment for SAS is the Thresh. Maybe they think that a tank will be locked in, but no, Kha'Zix.
Yeah, Trundle's gonna suffer into the Kha'Zix matchup, because normally you'd say that Trundle wins most 1v1s in the early stage of the game since his Q steals AD, but you shouldn't underestimate Kha'Zix's ability with Q and isolation damage when you're in that 1v1 situation. But then again, they still have to counter pick, so...
It'll come down to who gets the early drop in the other one, I feel.
Yeah, and our last pick for SS is going to be that Zoe in the mid lane.
So Vlad up top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
confirms
it's
that Vlad
expected.
is in the top lane.
So what
what
will they
they
play
will
into
pick.
Zoe?
Silence would be meh, since Zoe ult doesn't really have that much value, and looking at all the ultimates he can steal, like the most valuable targets are Vladimir and Caitlyn, but that's it. So he is of course going for the Azir.
Yep,
I
fine matchup.
I really like the Azir when you combo it in things such as, you know, the GP ultimate and the Trundle. It's just extra things to hold them in. It's like, oh, what's the name?
Hold
is
them
gone.
away.
The Cannon Barrage. Extra things to hold them in this area alongside that Ash Karma. It's just hold them in this down shield, and honestly, I mostly like this draft from GOTR.
The draft sort of fits together, except no real front line. You're expecting your Trundle to front line, and then you're just relying on the zoning potential that you have from Azir, Gangplank, Ash, and Karma. It's risky. Very
It's not
risky.
like there's a real plan within the draft of GTR. Yes, they're playing the map. You have the Gangplank ultimate. There's some pick-off potential to be made since you have Ashe ultimate. Ashe should probably itemize into Essence Reaver first, so you have that extra 20% CDR, so you can use the Enchanted Crystal Arrow multiple times. Karma's there for a little bit of peel, and of course, most notably the poke in laning phase, because poke is the thing that should win them this matchup. They're playing Caitlyn Thresh. Caitlyn Thresh, of course, known for an all-in matchup. You should be able to counter that with the poke you have in the bot lane. The long you don't get hooked, of course, by the death sentence. Mid lane matchup, Zoe into Azir. You'd say Azir would outscale, but Zoe, of course, is a really supportive champion for the rest of the team. So that kind of depends who plays it better with their jungler. And then Kha'Zix into Trundle. I'd say Eric will need a lot of help in the jungle against that Kha'Zix whenever he's going into the river, wants to do a scuttle crab. He really needs to know that the rest of his lanes have the lane priority, because I don't think he will ever win the 1v1, so he'll need the team to back him up.
Yeah. So in chat now, you can vote on who you expect to win SAS or
Win
GOTR.
draft.
I'd like to hear you guys. I mean, both of you, who are you expecting to take game one here? Based on the draft alone.
Based on the draft and
Depends how
what
far
I've
it goes. Yeah.
Based on the draft and what I've seen of these teams, I'd say ease of execution of comp, I would give it slightly to GOTR, but I think it can go either way. I don't think there's any clear this team's more likely to win or not.
Yeah, execution, of course, is the most important part of these two drafts, and, well, we can constantly make arguments about how Trundle's a bad matchup into the entire draft from SAS, but if it's a comfort pick for Eric, then you should know that we're playing around like gold plat level, and comfort picks are probably more important than what's meta, what counters. So if Eric's just really comfortable on this champion, then he should know how to execute the champion properly. So that's something they got for them. I'd still give it to SAS the upper hand, because the scaling potential is there. Like, Kha'Zix is a really great flanking champion with no dedicated front line on the side of GOTR. And then just with the scaling, like Vladimir can 1v9 if he hits like 3 to 4 items. So he can be like a real menace when it comes to pick-off potential. Well, let's not even start about talking about Caitlyn. Like, that champion has been so broken for the past couple of patches and really deserves the nerf she's going to be getting next Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Chat has voted a 50-50 split actually between SAS and GOTR. So a close
Only
one.
4 people voted.
Yes, that is true. Also,
So-
an after all, sorry, carry on.
Within the last few months, Mr. Oldie has played Kha'Zix a total of 5 times. Well, 4 times in actual league games, once in a special game mode, we don't know what that is, and has lost 3 out of those 4 games. Doesn't have it much played in ranked at all. Yeah, maybe not so much a comfort pick as just a counter.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that
it
could
felt
hurt
Like, it felt
side
like
of SAS.
they heard you, don't, and they were like, you know, as if they blind pick the Trundle, it's just
an
not pick
interesting
ourselves
choice.
a tank.
Because Vi was open, Olaf
I-
was open, Nocturne was
I
open.
guess they just went for the early 1v1 potential against Trundle, and then hoping that if they shut down Trundle the early stage, that he will not scale. Even though Trundle in general doesn't scale that well, like, now they know for sure if Trundle gets shut down, then there's no way for him to get back into the game.
I think it's still strange. I think they've just picked it almost as a transition champion to try and help them through, get a couple of early kills. But we'll have to see how it goes for them.
Well, with that said, of course, we are right now in the loading screen. We see everyone loading up, and we can at least tell that everyone's playing a champion that they've at least played before, because everyone's having Master Level 4, still Master Level 7, so comfort champions all the way around. Nothing really noticeable in Keystones, if you ask me. Well, maybe the Zoe with Unsealed Spellbook. I think it's personal preference. You see Zoe's playing with Electrocute, Zoe's playing with Synərgy, Arcane Comet, Unsealed Spellbook. Whatever you're used to, I'd say that Unsealed Spellbook is better when you know how to use it. So in this scenario, maybe Doobie really knows how to get the maximum value out of that Keystone, but it's a really high risk, high reward, in my opinion, if you don't really know how to use it properly. And then, well, the rest of the ways around, we see Azir with the lethal tempo, fairly standard, I'd say. I don't really see a lot of Azirs lately. Don't know what's the way to go for them.
I think usually you either go lethal tempo if you're
Lethal
expecting, to not struggle in your lane, or comet if you're expecting, a tough lane. Is from what my understanding of Azir is. I'm not an Azir player. So
Now and then
don't
you
take
see
my
a
word
Hail
for
of
sure.
Blades, but I think most people agree Hail of Blades is not worthwhile. You should just take Lethal Tempo if you're taking it.
Probably high risk, high reward as well. So
Yeah.
with that, finally into the Rift.
Finally into the Rift.
Slightly ahead of me.
Also,
That's normal.
for those low tier players, look at that second summoner that Dot has. It's called Cleanse. It's really good.
It is really good into the Sleepy Trouble Bubble from Zoe, because that thing will be your absolute nightmare if you're not going for it. It's a real surprise to me, actually, that the side of SAS decides to go for the standard early waiver. They do have a Thresh, so they should have the early invade pressure if there's no early stack coming out from GOTR with the counter invade stack, but they're not going for that either. So for now, fairly standard early games. Maybe a little bit questionable that Lazy Panda and GOTR are covering the same
Autokill
entrance.
walking forwards, gonna get killed by that Karma Q and some Azir auto
A
attacks.
lot of
with the
damage.
Sand Soldiers.
Yeah, I was gonna say they might not be wanting to invade just because of the early power that Karma has, having the ultimate to use, and also Ashe being able to make good use of her passive to add to her damage. I think it's fine for them just to fan out. They don't want to risk anything early.
Well, sometimes the early game cheese play can give you that slight advantage that you need to win the rest of it.
It can, and sometimes
To
it can throw you the
disorganize
game.
the rest. Yeah, true.
Coin flip to level
That
1.
is completely true. That's why you need to practice those things, and of course,
Of course,
get
this is
to
an
learn the matchup.
official match, so I wouldn't expect to see it. I do get annoyed when I see the scrim matches and no one ever invades. They always just fan out. It's like, well, this is your time. Try it out. See how it goes.
And things to notice, SAS even going to be popping 2 wards on that top side river, 1 in Pixel Bush and 1 just above mid lane, so obviously trying to guard for that level 2, possibly trying to scout where Eric is. Compared to GTR just having that ward in the top Pixel Bush, but that is going to fade out just straight away now. So not too much enemies of jungle tracking in this early game.
Yeah, except in the bot lane right now, getting poked out a little bit. It looks like Eric has decided to go for the triple camp clear for level 3. On the other side, we see Aldi wanting to go for a full clear, but he decides to recall after doing Krug, so that's something new. Like, normally when you
It's
start
very
Raptor,
low.
it's a thing. Yeah, true, but...
Maybe
it's,
let's chalk it up to he wanted the control wards. Give him the benefit of the doubt. See what he used the control wards for before
On the way, pings up top from Eric.
saying it's bad.
Supernova only level 2, probably doesn't have pool just yet. Nice pillar from Eric. Does have pool now. Will be safe away, getting that phase rush proc to get him to safety.
It'd be interesting to know when he skilled that pull. I think it's very smart of him if he was holding on to that second skill point to wait and see if he got ganked.
Uh-oh, looks like he's getting invaded by Eric.
Yeah, Eric is actually going to walk away. Yeah.
Mm,
Spots him
not
out.
to.
He has the
decides
level advantage, and he has lane priority at least on the mid side of the map, so he should be able to do
Parting
it.
back
but-
over.
I guess he
What?
didn't know Mr. Oldie recalled, so he assumed he must have also had level 3.
Rotations coming into the river.
Yeah, Dot going to be there first. Doobie coming in a little bit later, but the Sand Soldiers are there to zone Doobie out. Sleep not quite going to connect, and Eric going to be the one to pick up that Scuttle Crab there. But now Oldie
Oldie's-
left in this 2v1 using that jump to get over the wall. First blood, not quite going to come out just yet.
Yeah, it's a real question to me why Supernova didn't rotate as well. Like, he did have the top lane pressure he needed to make the rotation and make a pincer for the 3v2 situations, but apparently they think that their early game isn't strong enough.
Especially considering that Scuttle Crab got pushed towards the top lane, it was definitely a prime spot for Supernova to rotate. But deciding against it, that Scuttle Crab will go over to Eric and GOTR.
Worth noting, in terms of minions on the map and how much has been taken, tends to be very slight advantages for GOTR so far. Whether they'll be able to keep that up, actually slowly increase that or not, worth keeping a track on.
Yep, Smalley's coming by. First dragon is going to be a mountain. And it does look like SAS are pathing up to this.
I do
Gonna
like
get
an
some
early mountain.
Early wards out, 30 seconds before it spawns here. Going to secure that Scuttle Crab for it. I like this bot lane rotation up. SAS learning from the mistakes on the top side of the map. Going to be going for those
Personally,
rotations.
I really love Mountain Drake. I think it's underestimated how much that extra 1 or 2 armor and MR early game actually gives you. Part of the reason why I really like taking Shield Bash on Rakan. Interestingly enough, 1 extra armor and MR for most of the game is pretty useful.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we do see. Actually, I was expecting SAS to go for this dragon almost as soon as it spawned, with the way they positioned up, getting those wards out and the scuttle, you know, as soon as they could. But actually, as the dragon spawns, we do see Oldie go for a reset, and Eric actually going to be the one to get there first. Of course, Camera's going to be taking me to top lane because that's what the camera likes to do. Yeah, Eric did step forward.
Fights.
Yeah, it didn't actually get any vision there, so Eric, not actually having any vision on that side of the map, will not know if that is started.
SAS have very nice vision right now. Slight mishap over that blue buff. Technically, the advance to the dragon is not fully considered. Mr. Oldie could go for this dragon. I think he will. He knows he has the reset advantage.
And he also knew that Eric was pathing towards top side because of the deep ward they have near blue buff there. He just walked past it. So that's going to be the first
And
dragon
red
of the game, actually picked up by Sass then.
Yep. Completely out of vision. That mountain dragon will be going over to SAS.
And very useful.
Oh, hook landing onto Lazy Panda. Not going to commit to it, just going to get a little bit of poke out.
Slight damage.
Yep, just the hook into the Caitlyn Q. Just any damage they can get out for free, they'll take it.
So for reference, that early Mountain Drake, 2 MR for Zoe. Watching, like, yeah, it's pretty big. You consider, like, how much extra health you actually get from Ocean Drake. It's pretty comparable how good they actually are in terms of the early game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the only dragons that you probably shouldn't care too much about in the early stages is it's actually just one, and that's Cloud.
Yep.
Just 5% ult CDR isn't going to do that much.
10, but yeah,
I thought it was
considering...
just 5% per stack.
It's 10% per stack.
God, if it was 5, you'd never see anyone take it.
Yeah, no, Cloud Soul would be...
Of course, I never take it. It's the
Even
most
worse.
useless dragon in the game.
Oh, and that's why we love getting Cloud Soul 40% of our games.
Oh, you love to
That's
see
that's
it.
not even a meme.
Okay,
I
guys,
looked at the stats and
Yeah. All you're just going to be doing during a game where, in the first 2 dragons, there's not a single Cloud Dragon. You just give all the dragons on purpose to your enemy and then just wait for the quadruple Cloud Dragon stack.
Yes.
That's the plan.
there was a while where Mia was playing Lux and wanted us to do that on purpose.
Yeah, because you could get her ult down to below 10 seconds, and it was just a, laser Lux build. It's fun. If you ever get an opportunity to int the first 2 dragons, get a 4 Cloud Soul Lux, honestly, do it. It's incredibly fun.
Well, like, we are 8 minutes into the game now, and we already see the fruits of the draft from Sass being harvested a little bit. We see the forced executioners buy on the gangplank because you're laning against the Vladimir. You don't want to give him the infinite sustain. So that's already 800 gold forced from the draft from Sass to be spent on items that aren't necessarily core items on your enemy champion. So great job in that part.
Honestly, props to Reddington though. He's actually built the executioners. I love to see that, but something else I don't love to see.
Oh, I knew this was gonna happen.
He could have gone for
no.
Bramblefast.
He could have gone. That would have been terrible.
Yeah, yes, it would.
Both supports have built Moby boots. We'll have to see if they actually roam with these. Hopefully they roam with them. You've built Moby boots. Let's see some roaming.
Well, in general, Lazy Panda is known for his roams, or like at least small trips towards mid lane with his Karma, and I'm hoping Accept will do the same, since he has a pick-off champion, so whenever the death sentence will be landed on that Azir, it can be a free kill, or at least a flash being blown away from Dop.
Especially considering, the river control that GHL currently have in bottom side river. It does, if, Tenno and Lazy Panda can get away from under the tower, give Lazy Panda that opportunity to roam, but do we not quite get that second paddle star there?
So, small CS advantages being built up on the side of GOTR overall, leading them to about a 1k gold advantage with no kills on the board.
Yeah, one of the issues that I've spotted in the game plan of GOTR during a couple of scrims I've played with and against them. Oh, close though. Is that in general, they really like their rotations toward major neutral objectives and making kills all around the map, but taking like enemy towers is something that they're not super good at.
We're gonna land again. The trap is behind Lazy Panda. It's
Oh.
free to walk away as he does that trap, but Flash forced away. The ace in the hole connects, and their first blood going to SAS.
Heal is not used by
Meanwhile,
Tenno.
in the top lane, Mr. Oldie going for the gank. Oh, Reddington gonna get away with half health there. Yeah, Temmo just not respecting the amount of damage that Ortical will do there with that ace in the hole. With
Lazy
that
Panda
BF
uses the
sword.
flash. Tenno doesn't use the heal. Yeah.
I was actually even more confused by the fact that Accept didn't fly into the Caitlyn trap, if anything, away from it.
Yeah, he's not a support player generally, so
plays
I
top
think we
mid.
can forgive a little bit of misplays. Playing towards Caitlyn, sure, I mean, he tried.
Yeah, and it worked out. They did get that kill, that first blood gold onto auto kill there. Yeah,
So I
second
think it's
round.
quite interesting is the fact Gangplank is up on CS against the Vladimir.
And that's
But
the lead
like
advantage.
one level below.
Yeah, but I'm not sure I would have expected to see Gangplank out CSing Vlad. So that's interesting to see. Zoe being slightly down on Azir, I think, is probably expected. Caitlyn Ashe being about equal when you've got the Caitlyn with the Thresh and the Ashe with the Karma.
Also, of course, beautiful communication in the team of GOTR, and knowing that Ocean Dragon is going to be spawning. Everyone making their rotations in the meantime. Sass, a little bit slacking. Of course, they are picking up Herald right now, but they will be missing out on an Ocean Dragon, which is fairly important.
Ace hold on to Temmo. He's going to be completely fine though. Isolde was doing the Herald, so
They
in
go for
the
the-
top lane. But actually, the Enchantress are landing on to Accept, and the Cannon Barrage coming out to keep the slow. But Autokill now left on his own as Accept
Beautiful.
falls.
Beautiful instant turn and use of the cannon barrage there to just ensure the kill on the back half.
And that Herald is actually going to be put straight into the mid lane. Wave
Uh,
is there, so
I believe if
He's
the
gonna get the
Herald does
charge?
it, you get the plates on the jungler. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah, you get the plates on the jungler if there's no one nearby. It's a little bit sad.
yeah, I don't
Since-
rate that Herald.
Yeah, like, you do trade Herald for Dragon. It's not necessarily the best play. If anything, if you want to take an early Dragon, then you take the early Dragon and then switch top and bot lane around, so you can instantly go for the Herald when it spawns, so you can make the power play with Herald for the plates, since apart from taking Herald tower plates, Herald is 100 gold you're trading away for like a minion wave you're losing whilst contesting it, etc. I think LS has already gone over that. Second Herald is a big trap. Apart from that, right now you're trading away
Lazy Panda
a
again.
lot
The
of
trap
stats.
is behind him. Going to avoid the trap box used. No, absolutely fine. Apologies. Carry on, Devon.
Yeah, no, it's just a lot of teams like to fight in this elo without having to set it up, because right now we see Kha'Zix walking towards bot side, so now you can probably predict that the play is going to be made.
Hooks
But
up,
like
no
one-on-one
connect.
skirmishes do happen.
They don't have
He's
vision of
walking
Mr. Oldie
around.
here, and they're going for the route onto auto kill. Mr. Oldie using that stealth and the jump to get in, and Isolation not going to connect, but the smite will slow Lazy Panda down. Actually, they're not going to finish him and get that extra damage onto Temmo, give that kill over to Mr. Oldie as they dive towards Temmo as well, giving that over to auto kill.
1 kill onto Kha'Zix, 1 kill onto Caitlyn. Yeah.
Perfectly
And we
balanced.
finally
Great
know
outcome.
why Tenno didn't heal, because he healed right now for exactly this moment.
And you know what? We could say that 5,000 IQ. He knew this would exactly happen.
It's just a
And that's why
prediction.
I
Oh,
say-
Dot in this bottom lane does actually go for the flash into the Stream Shuffle, and except when we're taking
Oh,
tower
except
shots,
might be
Auto Kill gonna
Desert.
heal, but it's not enough. Auto Kill will probably be getting away on that Blast Cone there, but Eric is around. Gonna Blast Cone towards his tower. Oh, it's already gonna smite there, but the Enchanted Crystal Arrow
Odin into Crystal.
not gonna connect, and now Doobie stepping a little bit
Close, though.
forward. Gonna trade that as a 2-for-1 overall. Had to do some thinking for that math there.
Quick math.
Quick
So
math on the
platings are
counting to two.
gone. Platings are gone. That means that looking around the map, that most of the platings are down in the mid lane of the map. Like either tower's barely been touched. Maybe the bot lane tower on the side of GOTR that has been attacked a little bit. But those are all, yeah, like buildings that have been sieged thus far. So like I said, GOTR are not really keen on attacking those towers, but you will need them if you want to attack the enemy nexus.
Yep. It's always worth remembering, no matter what you do, the aim of the game is kill the enemy nexus, and the only way to get there is through the towers. In terms of second herald, I actually wouldn't be surprised to see SAS take this just to use it to break that mid tower. Just because it's going to be quite hard to break it into an Azir, especially if they start moving Ashe and Karma up there.
Oh, we do see Eric is in this bottom lane. Aldi is using that stealth lane. Huge amounts of damage going to Renton. He's forced to flash away, but now Eric in this 2v1. Mr. Aldi having to use that jump to get out of that cannon barrage, but Eric just committing to that kill, getting him down, but now Supernova left in this 1v1 with Eric. We'll be
Should
able to
be
get
able to
away
pick
with
this
that
up.
flash and the...
Flash.
Ruin that cannon move. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Dot getting a lot of damage onto DB there. He does have Redemption up and ready, but the triple Sand Soldier, he puts his Redemption a little bit too slow, and
Too late. Stands in the Sun Soldiers and gets picked up.
Now, why would you ever not heal yourself with the redemption there? Why do you want to have damage on the enemy as well whilst taking a Bukake or Sand Soldiers to your face?
it's been a little bit...
Maybe it's some people's dream. We can see we've got the Infernal Soul, not the Cloud Soul. Because me and Mia aren't playing, of course we do not get the Cloud Soul.
Nah, Cloud Soul is our curse. That's normal.
It's our thing. We love our Cloud Souls. We don't. I feel like it's the game. It's Riot taunting me from the fact I was always going on about how good Cloud Drake was, and they remade it, and I just suddenly get Cloud Drakes all the time. And I really hate the new Cloud Drake. I think it's terrible. I honestly think the old Cloud Drake is better than the new Cloud Drake is now.
Put your curse.
The thing with the new Cloud Drake is that it doesn't even work with every champion properly. I don't know if you guys sometimes watch videos from this guy named Vanderil, but he made a video about when some channeled ults are active and you kill a Cloud Dragon whilst having the ultimate active, that you don't get the CDR. So it's a little bit...
Oh god.
Indirect nerf to Shaco, I'm not
Yes,
complaining.
Vanderil.
and apparently it's been the case for...
Oh, actually, Laser Bandit would get caught here by
entire
Mr.
year.
Oldie. The smite won't finish him off, but now Mr. Oldie, and Accept,
Well.
the nice Enchanted Crystal Arrow to get him CC'd there, but Accept tanky enough to
Panda's
get
coming
away.
back.
Laser Panda's still there. Ultimate from Auto Kill is not available.
Yeah, I mean, there was also the classic, the red cannon has a shorter range than blue cannon.
Actually, the hook
Yeah.
connecting onto
He-
Eric there.
I'm not even sure they fixed that. I haven't seen it in any patch notes. They said they were
That's
going
what
to,
I was
but
Looks like no kills are actually going to connect out here.
so we're actually only 4 to 4 kills, 17 minutes in. One dragon apiece. A very even game. 600 gold between the two teams on the side of GOTR, slightly
That's
favored.
the CS difference, and looking at the lanes, it's mostly coming on to Dot on the mid lane, 3-0 on the Azir with a 160 CS score against his lane opponent, 0-1 on Zoe, 124 CS. It's
Meanwhile,
making
almost,
the difference right here for
About
them.
2,000 gold.
almost a 1k gold lead on the Caitlyn over the Ashe. And you can see a slight gold lead on the Vlad as well, and that's making up for what's in the mid lane.
Yep, that's my first tower falling, of course, in the bottom lane of GOTR. I don't know why we keep freezing. Apologies for that. So it looks like GOTR are going to be trading this second dragon for a... No Herald, of course, it was just Vision there. I see Eric in the pit, I'm thinking, ah yes, Herald, but no Herald there.
Yeah, not entirely sure what that control ward is. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to say there.
Oh, actually, Ultimate coming out from Supernova using that pull to dodge out the cannon barrage, but this will be a kill. Solo kill going over to Supernova.
Very nicely done.
Interesting indeed.
Knows when he can get a kill and just goes for it.
So, okay. We got a bit of a calm state game, should I call it? We got 4 minutes till the next dragon. A very a not bloodthirsty game compared to most ones we've seen. Actually, Lazy Panda looking to get around to Doobie, not knowing Mr. Audi is right there in that bush. And with Doobie going to use that ult and flash to get away, but the Drow's going to hit Mr. Audi be thrown into the rest of GOTR. It's just Accept and Doobie now left to run away, but a nice flash forward from Temo to get the slow. Ortical is there to follow up and get a little bit of damage, but Accept channeling that hook, but keeping himself locked in the middle of GOTR. Somehow still alive, but the last key from Lady Panda will actually finish him off there. Ortical and Doobie will be getting out alive. But a nice turnaround from GOTR into a fight which I thought was going to be Lazy Panda instantly blown up.
It was so unfortunate that Doobie flashed away from that enchanted crystal arrow and it just instantly hit Mr. Aldi in the face. Nowhere to run, nowhere to go. He gets picked off, and that's the fight right there. The nutshell.
Flash is just slightly too soon, which means that he doesn't get over the ultimate from the Azir. What is the ultimate from Azir called? The Emperor's Divide. I should have known that one.
I just call it Shurima Shuffle every time, even if they don't Shurima Shuffle.
It's only a Shurima Shuffle if he uses the combination.
I know, my brain always just goes Shurima Shuffle if he ults.
He didn't quite get past it and still got thrown back. Flashing maybe half a second later would have actually got him out of that, but sadly was not to be.
Actually, except taking advantage of those move boots, really pushing forward onto Mr. Aldi and I'm sorry, onto Tenno and Lazy Panda there.
No, like he was pushing forward, and the moment he wanted to hook, there was this minion who was like, "I don't like you," attacked him, and he just lost all the bonus movement speed from Moby Boots.
Unfortunate times
just
by Moby Boots. But yeah, in the meantime, we did see that mid tower fall, that Herald Juice from Eric to break that down.
Didn't see much roaming from either support. So whether Moby Boots is worth it, well, I think I would have liked to see.
Do you see actually the Audi out from Supernova again? Mr. Audi is there, leaving a flash cannon barrage, but Eric is there now for the turnaround. Now, do you see Supernova caught in this cannon barrage? Actually, Mr. Audi caught in the tower damage. Doesn't get to finish the tower off, except Autokill and Doobie are here.
And as that 4v2, the tower's on no health. Will they just auto it?
Dot is coming in from behind. Tower is finished, but a nice ultimate from Ashe coming out to finish, to land onto Autokill. And a huge ultimate from Dot pushing them into Renton and Eric. It's just... Never mind, they are all down. As GOTR get the clean 5-0 wipe.
No idea what the plan from SAS is right there. Just 4-man top lane, really out of position, not really anything they can do. There's still a tower in the way, they can't kill it because the minions already died. And then you're just setting yourselves up for the wombo combo the enemy team drafted, Enchanted Crystal Arrow with the Emperor's Divide, everything in one place. No one
blocks it for Caitlyn. Caitlyn gets hit by it, gets auto blasted by Azir. Oh.
Honestly, the Emperor's Divides these games have been huge. Dot doing work on that Azir.
I'm wondering what the game plan will be from SAS now on, because they are playing against an enemy with Baron buff, and it doesn't look like their team composition is working out for them too well. Like the Vladimir and the Caitlyn are doing really well, but it doesn't look like Zoe and Kha'Zix are adding anything to their team composition. So if you're going to go for team fighting, do you lose because of the Cannon Barrage, Enchanted Crystal Arrow, Emperor's Divide combination, or do you prefer Split Push with the only Split Push champion in your team being Caitlyn?
Right, I've just seen the item built on SAS. Let's start off. We'll go top to bottom. We've got Azonias from Vlad. What is your task as Vlad this game? Because I don't feel it's
one-hit
to stay alive.
One-hit Dot.
Why is he building Zonias?
Yeah, great question. We probably don't know that either. Of course, we know Vladimir as this flanking mage that just uses his own team to make a team fight happen, and then the moment everyone's focused on anything else, he just flanks from the backline, ults the backline, kills the backline, and just 1v9s the team fight. But with the Zonias, that's maybe decent as a fourth item, but you just need 2 damage items before that.
And then the other interesting thing to point out is the Caitlyn that can't decide if she wants an IE or a Runan second. Not Runans. IE or a...
The blue team, SAS getting the steal on the dragon. Auto kill with the huge Q.
built over Peacemakers doing huge damages when it hits the first target, so
It was all part of
props.
the plan.
Yeah.
There was a part of me that thought that was going to be the redemption steal coming in from Abүve. But no, it was confirmed as autokill.
I'm also not really a fan of Ludens on Zoe. I feel like it's easier to set up for your own combinations with the Sleepy Trouble Bubble when you have the Hextech GLP. I also just realized that the moment this dragon was initiated by GTR, they actually had Baron, so I must hate them for doing dragon with Baron. You're not making minions big and purple, and I've had this rant multiple times before with Ioriaa in the stream as well. The whole point of... Okay, I'm going to try and explain it once again and hope that they will not fight in the meantime. So the whole principle of having a Dragon Soul is to win team fights. The whole reason why you draft a team fight composition is so you can win a team fight, take Baron, and run it down the enemy base. If you already have Baron, you don't necessarily need Dragon because you have the objective you need to run it down the enemy base. So please, when you have Baron, make use of it, make the power play, take as many neutral enemy structures as you can. I don't know why I keep saying neutral because they're clearly enemy structures.
Neutral enemy?
Yeah, neutral enemies, I don't know.
The Baron's gonna wear out and they get nothing for it.
Oh, they literally did nothing with Baron. Such a waste of a great objective.
Almost got a tier 1 top tower.
They gave away a dragon. They did something.
Yeah, well, GTR, I hope you'll be watching the replay of this VOD on this channel and realize that this is not the way how to use Baron, and I hope that I teach you better by now.
I mean, at the very worst, Baron is worth 5 kills from the gold it gives you. That's something, I guess.
5 kills and the ace that they got there.
You can use it a lot better, sure, but
It gives you minion enhancing like product that no one else can give you.
Caitlyn has finally decided which item she wanted second. She decided that IE was better second instead of the rapid fire.
It doesn't really matter, like, when you're in these kind of situations, that you went back with Caitlyn and you only have the gold, for, like, 700 gold, though.
Eric turning around straight away, he's got Dot there to follow up.
Yeah, it's kind of a waste of an ult, because you most of the time want to use it for stealing stats. Oh, you didn't even ult, just looked like it because the skin is a total mess.
Mr. Oldie did ult, but of course Kazak's ult not on a long cooldown, it'll be back up next time it's needed.
Already nearly up again.
Yeah, it was just strange to see the Caitlyn with a BF sword, pickaxe, and Kershi shard all at once.
It's not that bad, because if you go B and you only have 700 instead of the 800 gold you need for the cloak, then it's not even that bad to have an extra enhanced auto attack, because it isn't unique passive, but it does stack. So you get an extra damage stack on the first auto with both Stormrazor and the item.
Actually gonna... No, not catch an auto kill. Doobie looking for the pick on the Lazy Panda. No. Damage. Once again, carry on, guys. The fight has fizzled.
Well, I think the most important part of this match is going to be in about 1 minute and 30 seconds, when the last, potentially last Infernal Dragon spawns.
Alright, gonna get hit by the Drowsy.
Ludens actually interrupts Lazy Panda's ban.
Doobie is missing so many combinations.
Just not quite in range for that second paddle star.
You don't have to be. If you do the initial cast on the enemy champion and you use your R afterwards, the range gets extended. But you need to know that whilst playing the champion. But I'd say you'd know that when you're playing the champion.
You'd hope so.
Yep, there are some very interesting interactions with Zoe. Looks like he's going towards the Spellbinder second.
Honestly, I would have much preferred to see him pick up... I mean, possibly some Magic Pen. I know the only source of, large source of MR we've got at the moment on GOTR is Eric with that Spirit Visage. I would be expecting to see Reddington pick up some soon. Dot does have the Merc Treads. So honestly, I'd like to have seen some Magic Pen. I don't think the flat AP you're going to get from the... Oh, the item names left me. Spellbinder is quite enough.
Oh, God.
You can make an argument for like Oblivion Orb into some raw AP.
It almost looks like...
except looking like it can get picked out from to flash away, but the Enchant Cross Arrow will connect onto it, and the Cannon Barrage just to zone him out, except not going to be able to escape here. Eric now looking to push forward further onto Doobie, but he looks like he's out safe.
And unless we see another steal here, GOTR gets a pick just before Dragon spawns.
Supernova is still top. I don't expect him to come back. We can see he's on that top wave right now. Has got a good cannon wave.
They're pulling it out.
Mr. Oldie is up, is alive. There's 2 levels down, Eric, so the smite is much further away, and it looks like they're just going to be giving away that dragon, deciding not to contest that. Meanwhile, on top lane, Supernova will get that tier 2 tower.
It's not like they did blow a lot for Thresh right there, because it's actually a really nice pick for them to make with the information that Vladimir is with teleport on the top lane, but the moment you take a member out of the composition from SAS, whilst Dragon is almost spawning, you know, at least 90% sure that Supernova will never take the teleport for the team fight, since SAS doesn't want to take the fight anymore. They're 1 member down.
It almost looks like with the Zoe and Vlad builds that they almost forgot which champions they were playing and moved them around. I would have almost expected the Zhonya's second on Zoe and the Vlad to build a Spellbinder second. Would be more likely in my mind than this way around, but
I also don't get why Vlad's going for Liandry's in a team composition where the only tanky champion where it has a lot of value on is Trundle. Of course, it's still better than Morellonomicon in 1 point, but you can go for champions like items like Void Staff. You can go for Spellbinder. Rabadon's Death Cap is still an option. So there's no reason to go for Liandry's 3rd item and Zhonya's in 2nd when you want to play more aggressive.
Yep. Maybe if Gangplank was building a lot of health, you could justify it, but here, yeah, there's not really a way you can justify building it 2nd.
Even Gangplank can build
even.
Liandry's as his final item if he's going to be full build.
It's actually aggro by Lazy Panda there. Supernova can take a little bit of damage from that as they clear out Baron Pit.
Just interesting to see what Gangplank's going to build next. I'm kind of assuming the BF Sword might be going into a GA. But be interested to see what he decides. We do see sometimes Liandry 2nd on, not 2nd, 3rd on GP.
What do you actually think about Ashe with SSV Runant and then going for Blade over something like a Death Stance against Kha'Zix, Caitlyn, and Vladimir?
Yeah, at this point I wouldn't start building into Blade.
How much have the Kha'Zix, Caitlyn, Vladimir got on to Tenno?
Okay, Blade's most useful part is against people with a lot of health. Vlad is building a lot of health, I guess, but none of the rest of the team is going to have a lot of health.
Doppel's going to get caught out here, Mr. Oldie, going for that engage, but Tenno is there. Except taking loads of damage, actually, but huge damage going to land on Tenno, blowing up straight away. Except going to be finished off by that cannon barrage, but now forcing his efforts onto Autokill and Doobie. There's no one there to kite them away. Meanwhile, on the top side, we do see Supernova trying to get a pick onto Dot and Lazy Panda, but getting caught in between the Sand Soldiers. And Dot finishing up another kill. It's just Doobie and Reddington left in there. Small 1v1 in the top side. Doobie going to be taking those barrels down as he can. Sleep controlled by Wiggle, but it's not enough damage as Reddington uses that last parlay to finish off in the 5-4-1 once again. And 2nd Baron actually going to be going over to GOTR.
Now, this depends on how they use it. There's a world here where they use it the same way as last time, and I say they should have just pushed down mid.
It's okay to take a reset because you just took a major objective, and it's fine to take a reset when the full team does it, and then you can just waver like 1-3-1, 1-4, whatever your composition allows you to do. But please don't go farming jungle right now, or setting up for another dragon, or making a pick in the enemy jungle. It's just not worth it.
We've got a minute 20 till the next dragon. I should hope that this is not going to be wasted completely.
I see Eric running it down mid, and I see pings coming out to jungle camps, and I'm like, no, you have Baron, please don't. Like, Eric right now is going for vision, that's okay.
The Drake.
But
Okay, if you push your waves in, get that pressure so that 1 or 2 of your members can do Drake while you're pressuring, sure, whatever. I don't want them to use this entire Baron just setting up and taking a Drake.
We have
not
Baron,
even
and we're taking
hook landing onto Lazy Panda. Huge damage coming out from Autokill, forcing that stopwatch, but yeah, the trap straight underneath him will finish him off.
Okay, stopwatch when there's a Caitlyn that's about to put a trap under your foot, useless. Yeah, there's nothing more to say about that, but just don't use stopwatch.
It's not only useless, but you have to keep in mind when this Baron went down, Tenno was still respawning, and now there's another dragon Baron buff down because Lazy Panda just died. That means they only have 3 Baron buffs left of the initial 4.
Mr. Audition going to huge damage from Dot there.
Dot is
giving that Dot passage
massive
to get
right now.
Away.
Level 18 Azir. Highest level on SAS, 17 on the Vlad, followed up by 15
Poke
on the
actually
Zoe.
coming out from GOTR. Supernova already looking pretty low. Mr. Oldie less than half health. Volleys just to keep him away there. Another Dark Passage just to get him back to his team safe.
Like, there's no way for GTR to lose this game by this point. It's just a matter, will it take 35 minutes because they have Baron and they can still make it? Or will it take 45 to 50 minutes because they don't know how to close out the game?
Well, Dragon
There's
is
no way
really
they
started.
should
Mr.
lose
Oldie
this
and
game.
on the side. But the steal actually coming out getting Infernal Soul for SAS.
Yeah, but
They
Supernova's going
trade the
down,
1
so
for
it's
0.
fine.
Supernova will go down, accepts an auto kill, running for their lives as Tenno does have the Enchant Crystal Arrow. They need to watch out for this.
They still have Baron
Auto
buff.
kill actually charged that Q. The
they can
Enchant Crystal
still
Arrow
make it.
will land. Laceman flashing forward, getting that route onto auto kill. And now it's Accept on his own. Eric will be able to catch up to him with that smite there, and Laceman to go for that second route on to Accept there, forced to flash away. Auto kill, why did you charge the Q? It was like Tenno saw,
Why
oh,
did he
the Q
charge
has
the
been
Q?
charged.
Why did he walk back for another auto attack?
And that was the perfect Enchant
Nothing
Crystal
he
Arrow.
did
Now
there made
Mr. Oldie
sense.
forced to jump away. GB left alone in this mid tower, except going for the hooks, but it means nothing as their bottom inhibitor is falling. Baron Minion's still alive, and this Infernal Dragon, huge damage onto Tenno, but it doesn't matter. It's out number 1 falling alongside, except Mr. Oldie just going to get wiped as he tries to make a pick. Next is tower number 2 falling, and this will be the first game going to Guardians of the Rift.
So you might look at the scoreline here and think, that was a fairly good game. I think that was a fairly messy game. Yeah, although Guardians of the Rift tend to hold the lead for most of the game, if not all of the game. I think it was incredibly messy. Some of the decisions very questionable.
Like I said, GTR is able to finish the game in 35 minutes. And in the end, I'm really glad they did. But all they needed is the Dragon Soul to get stolen whilst they had Baron to proceed in making 2 picks that else wouldn't have been made. And that finally incentivized them to actually use their Baron buff, run it down a couple of lanes, take 2 more kills because Sess was out of position. And then they finally managed to finish a game that could have been at least 5 minutes shorter if they really know how to get everything out of that Baron buff. So I'm hoping that they're listening right now to the stream, since I have coached them before, and I know that I'm really a man of it's black or it's white and there's nothing in between. But please, when you get Baron buff, don't sit in the enemy jungle. It's a really important buff that makes minions big and purple for a reason. So go use it, be a cheerleader. You don't have to NA-ram. You can use a 1-3-1 split. And then when other players from the enemy team are rotating multiple players to a lane where one of your split pushers is on his own, then you can just run it down mid, take an inhib, and by then you already have the game. But please use it and don't sit out a Baron buff like the first one you took without dealing any structure damage at all.
Yeah, if you want to know how strong it is, just look up how broken it used to be with Ioriaa. It literally got that item removed from the game. Like, there's nothing else to say about that. Their choice was, we horribly nerf either Baron or Ioriaa, or we remove one from the game. They ended up removing Ioriaa from the game. I think that there's a clear person on the team of GOTR that without that person, they don't win that game. I don't know if you two would agree.
I know
think
exactly
it's,
who my MVP vote would go for.
I think it's fairly clear, right?
Dot.
Yeah,
Is it?
100%
Yeah.
Dot. Like I predicted before the match even started, that Dot is their star player.
Yeah, Dot having a huge
yeah.
performance in that Azir. The Emperor's Divides. Oh. It's beautiful. Well played to both teams, of course. Do you guys... I mean, we usually do an MVP for the losing team. How do you feel... Who was your MVP for SAS?
Even though the itemization was bad, I'd probably go for Supernova because he still did a lot of things in the top side of the map.
Yeah, it'd have to probably be Supernova or Auto Kill, but Auto Kill only really stole a Drake with a Q. He did okay things, but there was nothing else that really stood out. Supernova did get that nice solo kill where he just knew his damage and knew that he could get the kill, went in for it. Yeah, I mean, it's Supernova.
If anything, I'm hoping that SAS, for the next game, will adjust their draft that they're giving their main players that should have been the start, because I've heard some decent words from Doobie and from Supernova. Supernova was playing fine, but please give Doobie a comfort champion, because it didn't feel like he was playing a champion he had a lot of experience on, looking at the way the Zoe was executed.
Yeah, honestly,
Kind of felt like a first-time Zoe IMO.
Yes.
honestly, just draft comfort, draft something that kind of fits together. Like, honestly, comfort over something that fits together at this level for now. Yeah. I don't think the game was entirely out of their hands or entirely unwinnable or anything like that.
It looks like chat
There were
agrees with
more than
Synərgy.
enough mistakes on the side of GOTR that could have been punished by SAS, but they just didn't have the... Yeah, they just couldn't in the end.
Yes.
That's the main thing.
Yep, so we'll be prepping for Game 2 now. As I said, chat clearly agrees with our MVP there, with 78% of the votes going over to Dot on that Azir. Also a vote over for Trundle and for Eric on Trundle and Tenno on that Ashe. Yeah, so we're just waiting for the rest of GOTR to get into the lobby. Is there anything that you're expecting either team to ban based on Game 1?
I think if you are the side of SAS, you look at the enemy team and you wonder, what should
Azir.
we really ban? What do we actually want to force this mid laner onto on the enemy team? And honestly, you have to consider as well, is the ban on Jarvan that important over forcing him 3 ban? I think it is, but it's something you have to think
the
about.
Jarvan ban is more important over the Leona ban they actually came with.
Wait, they came with a Leona ban on first round?
Yeah, the Leona ban was the last ban of first draft or first banning round, and if you replace that one with, for instance, the Azir in this situation, I know you're spending 4 out of 5 bans right now on the enemy mid laner, but I think with this prestation that he's just shown us, yeah, you have to. There's literally no other way. You know what this man's capable of right now. You have to ban him out, or this will keep happening.
Yep, and it might be that you have to give over Caitlyn for this. Hopefully you're happy to play the Ashe into the Caitlyn. I'd be interested to see if GOTR banned the Ashe as their 3rd ban to try and force SAS into banning Caitlyn over banning a mid laner.
How about picking Senna?
Ooh.
I think Senna is a great champion still.
She is.
She's probably going back to being played with fasting Senna. Like, I feel like a lot of pro teams right now are holding back on playing fasting Senna because they know that if they do, Worlds will probably nerf it again before Worlds happens, and well, they want to play it on Worlds because it's still fairly broken.
I think one part is that, and one part is also there are quite a few ADCs that you notice when they're playing fasting Senna, their team's vision is a lot worse than usual. And you do have to consider that as well. You are potentially taking a big hit to your overall vision.
It depends on who's playing the Senna. Because
exactly.
if you force your ADC on the tank part of the fasting Senna combination, then vision probably isn't a problem.
Cool.
The problem is that your ADC is now playing a tank. Which they probably should be used to, because looking at a lot of ADC's positioning, they really like to run it down.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, you can't really argue against that, but very true. So, looks like we have both teams in here now. They're just going to potentially reorganize themselves, make it slightly easier for us when we get into game. Not have to reorganize both teams' boards, or the other way around.
Everyone, all players back into the lobby, just waiting for them to ready up, and we'll be getting into game number 2. Do we have, do we think this is going to be a 2-0 for GOTR? Do you think SAS can pull this back to make it a 1-1?
For me, looking how they played the early game on the side of SAS, they should be able to pull it back. Their macro decision making in a later stage, like mid-game stages, the 5-man top commit that just blasted back into their own faces was a little bit questionable. So the long they don't do anything of that sort, they should be able to play a decent laning phase, build up their lead, maybe take 2 to yeah, one or two dragons, maybe a herald, and when you have that, it's still improvising, but just play the map and don't play on picks that are questionable because you don't have the vision for it.
Yeah,
I think if SAS draft properly, considering they're on red side, and actually play around the early game, I think they can take this.
yes. So, it looks like we are.
We'll wait and see. It looks like some of the teams are going on toilet breaks. Entirely fine, of course. Not everyone has a bladder made of steel. That doesn't even make sense. Yeah.
No, because
So-
that would probably how'd you call it? Oxidate.
Exactly.
And I don't think that
That's
something
probably a
you
bad
want
thing.
from your bladder. Yeah, you
That's why
probably
they have to empty it
go
constantly.
to
There
like,
we go. That's why they have to empty it constantly.
You'd have to go to a doctor like every couple of
Oh,
months
God.
because your bladder just oxidated again, and then they just have to take away the rust. And oh, that would be a really, really
How did we get
painful
here?
operation. Ah,
I don't know. I will be back in a second, though. Yeah. Be right back.
Should we turn up the music whilst we wait for our game to start here?
the games to continue, the games to start, however you'd like to say it.
Oh yeah, it's continued already a better word, isn't it? Considering 1-0 to GOTR.
Yeah, they.
First game was a warp, yeah. I like the fact that we've got some fans in chat. Some SAS cheering going on. We got some GOTR. Got the actual GOTR own Twitch account.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that the official GOTR?
That is the
Twitch
official
account?
GOTR Twitch account.
With 6 followers and 0 videos, so it's fairly new.
I think I've seen one game casted on it, or two. Or one that was casted at once.
Potentially.
But yeah.
I've only done a couple of in-houses right now. Yeah, like the thing is right now, we are seeing SAS on red side. I know in general, red side is easier to draw because, like we pointed out before, you have 3 instead of 2 counter picks. We've also seen that GOTR has made great use of the last counter pick they can have on mid lane. They now were able to pick the Azir into the Zoe. I wouldn't necessarily call it a counter pick because you also need to keep in mind that Azir is one of the favorite champions for Dot. Of course, Azir is going to be nerfed next patch, but that doesn't really mean that it will instantly follow the meta or that Dot instantly is unable to play the champion anymore because it aren't like the biggest of changes. It will be notable, but it's not the worst.
Any Azir nerf is welcome to me.
I think that Seth probably should have respected the Azir pick more because when you go to Dot's op.gg, you can clearly see that he plays the champion. And he's not bad with the champion.
No,
And it's a really strong champion. And also one of the main reasons why I think GOTR is banning the Corki most of the time because they don't want to play the boring sit back and farm lane called Corki versus Azir.
I think if SAS had done, well, I say if they'd done their homework, if they'd have seen GOTR's past games, because this isn't the first time we've seen Dot be, a dominant Azir. And I think, as we're going to be hopefully doing keeping track of some statistics for this league, that some of these picks that they don't obviously pull out in ranked as often, but actually they've pulled out one again and again in tournament play. It's going to be easier for teams to actually respect this, because honestly, I don't think I've seen Dot do bad on Azir.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I feel, yeah, I didn't want to interrupt anything. I think that's the problem. You look at Dot and he has enough champions that he looks really good on, that you ban him out and he ends up on this Azir in most games. And the Azir is really good anyway. So then you have to decide actually which of all these champions do you want him to play, and you have to ban around that, trying to force him into playing it. Which generally does not go so great.
I think SAS has 2 options. You can spend most of your bans in trying to ban out Dot, or you can be like, okay, Dot will play his macro correct on every single champion you give him, because I've also seen him play champions that haven't been banned or picked right now by GTR, going over champions like Galio and such. Galio, of course, really strong in the meta right now, not too difficult of a champion to play, but if you know how to play his macro correctly, then you're already fairly settled as a player. So if you think this player cannot be banned out, then just don't even bother. Just give him a champion that he likes, try to counterpick him, and focus on the rest of the team being banned out.
Yeah, unless there's a champion you absolutely hate and your team cannot play against, sometimes it's just better to leave someone with a big pool to pick whatever they want.
Yes, we are in Champions League now. First ban going to be a Zach straight onto Mr. Oldie. No surprise. GOTR following what they did in game 1 and saying, bans worked. Keep the start one as it is so far.
Yeah, exactly that. So now Seth's actually thinking about doing shifting things up. There's the Leona ban again. Still think it's not worth it against Lazy Panda, knowing his champion pool, and that he prefers playing champions like Karma, like we've just seen in Rakon. But they're apparently really afraid of the Leona. It's also so strange that you ban out Leona and you proceed to pick Thresh, who's like a main counter to the champion. Like, why is Leona such a big issue?
It also depends how confident you are on the Thresh.
Yeah, because we do know Accept isn't a main support player, he plays mid and top. Thresh might have been the, oh, I can play this, and didn't really think about it too much beforehand when it came to ban.
You give him Thresh, and then like Leona will E, and then you will E, and then it's like, oh, we just both E, and now nothing happened.
That is how it should go, but you have to remember it's not always how it will go. Especially
He's a
if you're
diamond player. Like, of course, like his micro will not be the best on Thresh, but he still should have diamond reflexes. It's not that difficult to think of.
And I did wonder if this would happen. They're banning Ashe, basically saying, yeah, ban Caitlyn.
Yeah, it does put SAS into the spot where they've got their Azir ban onto Dot. Obviously, don't want to see that again. And with GOTR banning Ashe, it says you can either put more bans onto Dot, and we first pick Caitlyn, or you ban Caitlyn, and we first pick something good for Dot.
It has to be the Caitlyn pick. I think that if SAS here would have banned Caitlyn, the first pick from GTR would have been Ezreal, because they really like that champion over all the other ADCs that are open by then. But nope, they just ban Ryze. I think it's not the best ban, if even a ban at all.
Now, I wonder if they
Caitlyn.
plan to just pick away the Kassadin here. Because you look at the best champions, looking at his profile on OP.gg for Dot, and you'd expect people to potentially think of banning Kassadin
was first
and
ban last
Ryze.
game.
Blind
They've
picking
Kassadin
Ezreal
this
though. Kassadin. Blind picking Kassadin.
It's very bad, but I wonder if that's their thoughts. They're gonna leave it open though, maybe knowing that they're gonna get the counter and being like, yeah, fine, they'll have to blind pick it if they're going to. Jovan left open. Jovan's gonna come in, send a Nautilus bot lane. That's a lot of CC.
I'm just hoping that GTR will not fall for the trap of drafting Morgana as the second pick next to Caitlyn into Nautilus, because whatever people will tell you, Nautilus actually counted to Morgana, because that black shield is destroyed within mere seconds when Nautilus hits Q into E, and then he can still cast his depth charge.
Yeah, he's put an extra few points into that black shield to make sure.
You want to max your black shield first,
I
which
think,
is of
I
course
think it was 3
not
points
preferable.
you need to put in to the black shield to make it.
No, 3 points is for Thresh.
And then
okay.
Nautilus maxes E. Oh no,
There
they
you
go
go,
for
there's
the
the
blind
Kassadin.
Kassadin!
Oh,
No,
now will
not the
SAS
blind
punish?
Kassadin.
What are they gonna pick?
Please just pick an
Please.
AD mid laner. Like Lucian really well into Kassadin, Tristana really well into Kassadin, Kiana really well into Kassadin, Zed, Yone, is Yone allowed?
Yeah, Yone's allowed.
Yep.
Yone into
Anything on the
Kassadin,
current patch.
Yasuo, it's so strong. The Elise, apparently the counter pick into Jarvan, okay. I'm really disappointed that the side of GTR didn't finish up their bot lane there. I'd say the bans right now for SAS, at least one of them has to be the Galio still, because there's still a potential to flex that pick into the bot lane as a support or the top lane, and you still have the Jarvan Galio combination that is really difficult to play against.
And Lazy Panda does love the Galio.
Yeah. We've seen Karma come out as a respect ban for Lazy Panda in Game 1. They obviously don't want to see the Caitlyn Karma. And I don't blame them, that sounds quite disgusting.
I think we'd expect to see a Galio secondary ban here.
You know what is actually disgusting on the bot lane if UTR were to draft it, and I'd actually be happy to see it? Ziggs support.
Is it something
Wait,
that
what?
Lazy Panda plays? Where are my notes?
Wait,
GOTR.
did I hear that right? Ziggs?
Ziggs, Caitlyn melts towers like crazy. You can literally get first tower around 8 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
First
The
tower,
combination of-
first
I
tower,
suppose
lane swap for first herald at the
Your
8
push
minute
would
mark.
be pretty good.
Push and poke. Like, don't forget that, like, Ziggs Q and
Well, I
Caitlyn
feel like-
Q constantly on your face, then a headshot in between, and Ziggs, of course, with his, like, free sheen effect on his passive. It is really obnoxious to play against, but it's just just like sleeper OP
I'd love
IMO.
to see it. I would love to see it, and Lazy Panda, please. Make it happen.
The worst thing is I'm going to go play this at some point now, just to see.
Meanwhile, I'm actually going to see GP banned away from Reddington. Obviously, there were some quality cannon barrages from him last game. And the Lucian and Zed taken away from Doobie in the mid lane. So obviously, I think these are more directed at things that Dot doesn't want to see as the Kassadin. I mean, and you said it, Dermot. The Lucian pick.
They're
No,
hiding.
The
They're
Shen
hiding
is
their
such
mid.
No! Why would you pick Shen? Where's your protect the carry comp right now? You have a Senna. Like Senna can no.
Okay,
no.
wait. What are they planning to draft as their mid laner here?
Hopefully
they
a
pick
hyper carry
Shen.
that's the Shen target.
Is it
Does
Tristana?
Doobie play Yone?
Tristana is open. Does he play Tristana?
But like at the same time, you're locking yourself in the full AD composition right here. The only form of
They
AP
have
right now is
Elise.
Elise. It's
And
just
Shen
Elise.
does a bit.
No,
Nautilus does a bit. It's not much. Yeah, GOTR, I can respect them picking a massive tank after
look-
seeing the enemy comp.
Look at the insane scaling on the side of GTR right now. Like, Caitlyn is an early game bully, scales really well, and then Kassadin Ornn is going to be a menace. Like, post level 16, no way that Cess will win this.
Do we have some 5,000 IQ swap where Shen's going mid?
Lazy
I
Panda. Oh,
see.
Lucky in that brand support. Oh, I'm glad I'm not on SAS right now.
Nikki, can you sub in? This is your champion.
And
Nikki
just the
normally
count
plays
swapped real
brand
fast.
support.
I don't like brand support.
Nah, me neither. Like, yeah, it is still super aggressive. I even would have preferred the Morgana over the
I would
brand
have
in this
preferred Morgana.
situation.
They're gonna pick Corki.
No! Why would you pick scaling into Kassadin?
Um,
Nothing outscales Kassadin. This is not how the matchup works. Oh no.
okay.
I think Cess just in the draft, like, really badly. Or poorly, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, this is the plan. Corki gets packaged, he goes bot lane, Shen ults onto him, they 5-man bot lane. At level 6 and first Corki package. And they
right around the time
snowball
that
from there?
Charfin is going to be soloing Herald because he sees 5-man bot and he's like, oh well, now Herald just spawned. Might as
I
well
mean-
take it.
They get to take first tower, mate? I don't know. It's very, we gotta justify this somehow.
Yeah,
They've got the early pressure from the Elise to help pull the rest of their team over the finish line, except the enemy team just outscales them. So they need to pull their team to the finish line first. They need to hit those scaling points first, and then really pressure in the like 5 minutes they get where they are ahead. It's hard for SAS right now.
I thought it
It's,
was a
it's a scuffed draft, but we have to work with it.
I have a message from Doobie's original team. Apologies, once again forgot to turn my redeems off, so we have to say, Doobie, if you lose, you're a failure for World Genesis. Of course, World Genesis being Doobie's original team. Apologies, back to you.
I feel like there's at least an 80% chance that Doobie is going to be a failure for World Regenesis with this draft. I don't really see it working out for SAS, but then again, macro decisions are probably the deciding factor in this game. If GTR plays their early game really scuffed and they cannot even scale towards that the level 16 Kassadin, then they will potentially lose the game. But the odds of that happening are fairly low.
Yes. Now put a vote up in chat of who chat thinks are going to win game 2. Who's your guys' votes going on?
I think it's fairly clear. I'm
Yeah,
going
I
GTR.
would love to be able to say SAS, but they've made it so hard.
Last composition, I'd actually
I think I would have
would
maybe
have gone
said
for
SAS,
SAS.
but it's
Uh,
this one. I mean, okay, if Caston doesn't take double MR runes here as well, I think it's kind of trolling. When you've got Elise Corky, and all you need to do is get to, what, 2 items?
yeah, but Corky is dealing 20% AD damage on his auto attack.
Oh no. Yeah, if SAS is anything like me, they've drafted Elise, and therefore the first dragon is going to be either Infernal or Earth. I'm going to absolutely screw the fact you have Elise. No, yeah, so it'll be interesting
So
what the first
funny,
Drake is.
How most dragons and Dragon Souls maps can impact what junglers are viable or not. Because thinking about Infernal Rift, for example, actually nerfs a champion like Rengar because there are less bushes you can jump from, and then Ocean Soul, for example, actually gives him more bushes. But then when you look to statistics, Rengar's lowest win rate right now is on Ocean Rift, and his highest is on Infernal Rift.
Yep, I feel like it's something to do with Lee syndrome. They see a bush, they just want to jump in. Other interesting small things are the extra walls with Earth. In theory, buff Poppy, nerf Scion, things like that. One that I think is really noticeable
Buff
is these
Kiana.
champions. Yeah, exactly. Wow.
Kiana can actually be buffed by Ocean Soul as well.
Interesting.
It's a small water pool beneath blue buff that you can get your freezing element from.
I didn't know that one actually. I feel like you could argue Earth nerfs Kiana because her ult can hit the tiny walls instead of the big ones.
But sometimes that's exactly what you want.
Sometimes it's what you want, but I think it's a hard one to tell. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the Drakes that do AoE damage, of course, are especially annoying